guys, it's Jen from over at worldofjencraft.com, and this is our project for today. So it's this really beautiful treat bag that I created using a little bit of new, a little bit of retiring, and a little bit of carrying over. Let's get straight to the supplies this go round, and I will explain which ones are new, when they'll be available, which ones are retiring, how long they'll be available, and which ones are just not going away for a while. So let's get rolling. This is the Whisper White organza ribbon that is available in the Occasions catalog. This is retiring and is currently available while supplies last. The Love What You Do stamp set will be available as a bundle starting in March. We'll have three different, or May, March, May, it's all M. We will have 3 different bundles available where you can get your hands on this stamp set. The Oh So Eclectic is what I used for my sentiment. This is sticking around for a while. The Treat Bag Framelits dies. This, unfortunately, and very sadly for me, because I recently bought it, is retiring. So I'm trying to get my use out of it while I can. I've done another bag, in fact the bunny bag that I did with the punch art, that was done up using this little treat bag, and I really love it. It makes making the bag so much easier. So this is retiring and while available while supplies last. The Basic Black Archival Stamp Pad, believe it or not, this is retiring and available while supplies last. We will continue to have a Basic Black, it just won't be in the archival. This is new, yay! This is a new color, Grapefruit Grove, and a new stamp pad. Love, love, love these. So we'll get to that. That will be available starting, it's in one of the bundles, so you'll be able to get your hands on it in May. Then let's get to the paper. Oh, I did want to mention too that I am using a water brush, aqua painter, and the Wink of Stella, of course. That's just kind of a given with most of my projects. So the paper, let's get to that quick. You are going to need, now I use this gorgeous designer series paper from the Share What You Love. It does come in the Gotta Have It All bundle. This is the back side, which I'm not sure which I love more. I love all the color in this, but I really do love that writing on the back side as well. And that's in kind of that Grapefruit Grove, but just a little muted, I guess. So 6x6 is one sheet, and a 3x6 is the other, because I have to put these in the big shot separately. So that was just easier for me to go ahead and cut them separately like that. Basic black cardstock, you're going to need, mine is a 1 1/8 by 8.5, but you can do a 1 by 8.5 as well. I just had a strip that I was using, and that's kind of what I stuck with. And then a 2.5 by 3.5 scalloped oval. The Rich Raspberry cardstock you will need, mine is a 7/8 by 8.5, or you could use 3/4. If you decide to take this to 1, then I would take this to 3/4. Grapefruit Grove cardstock, I got to get used to all these new colors, is a 2 3/8 by 3 3/8 inch stitched oval, and Whisper White is 2 1/8 by 3 1/8. So let's get started. First off, let's go ahead and just stamp. So I grabbed out my archival Basic Black, and when I stamped this down in my oval, I wanted to move it over where I had just enough room to be able to put my sentiment here. So I'm not putting the stems directly in the center, but kind of over just a little bit to the side. And we're going to do a take 2 on that. Oh, no, we're not. I think we're just, oh, that should be okay. We're going to go with that. And then I'm also going to stamp out a scrap piece of Whisper White, because I did cut these out. And of course now I can't find my Whisper White, so hang tight. All right, it's a good thing that we are covering over that, because I must not have, usually I like to have something underneath, like a pad when I'm stamping. So I'm going to go ahead and just, well, of course that's much better, but that's okay. We need that. I'm going to set this aside quick just to make sure it's fully dry before we start coloring on it. And let's go ahead and pull out our Big Shot and cut out the bag. So we'll put our 6x6 piece of paper, and I want to make sure that my pattern is going the correct way. So I'll line up, this should go just right even with the paper. And grab out my plate and let's go ahead and cut this. This kind of feels like it's pretty, oh, well, you can hear it cracking and crumbling, so you do have to kind of push through, but it does cut out very nicely. So this is what you will get from that 6x6. And then we'll put the 3x6, and wanting to make sure that you really don't have a choice on this, you still have to go up and down. So this is just going to get placed there. And we'll roll this through. And I do like to roll them through twice, just to make sure that everything gets cut nicely. All right. So now we have this portion and this portion. And what I'm going to do is I'm not using a bone folder with this. Generally, I would use a bone folder, but I do find that when this, especially the paper, sometimes it can crack a little bit if you put too much pressure on it, and I don't really need a ton anyways. It folds in really nicely, so you just want to fold in your score lines here. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my adhesive just down on this strip here. And that is going to get lined up with this. And I'd like to start at the bottom so I know it's lined up perfectly at the bottom, and then go straight up to that top part there. And then it really doesn't matter which side you put your adhesive on when it comes to folding it over. So I would just fold over and just decide which one that you want. So I'll go ahead and put adhesive here, and you don't want to go all the way to the top. Well, I suppose you could. Oh yeah, maybe you do want to go all the way up to the top, because that's just gonna, sorry, I think I was off camera. So that's just gonna come over here, and then you're going to put your adhesive right there. And that's the bag. Pretty darn simple. So what I did for my 2 strips is I went ahead and I just lined it up and I eyeballed the center of it and folded over one edge and then folded over the other, and they will end up meeting in the back. So I'll go ahead and just put some adhesive on here and just making sure that my cardstock is all lined up. I'll put that there. The reason I did not score it is sometimes when you score it, it doesn't want to fold correctly around the bag. So if I just put it around the bag without scoring it, it does give me a little bit, I don't know, maybe more leeway or whatever without having an excess of it. This hugs it nice and tight. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same with this. I'm just going to line it up, and then I'm going to fold one side over and fold the other side over and turn it around. And you probably could trim this if you wanted it to meet up with the black in the back, but I'm not too worried about that. You could probably go maybe a half of an inch shorter on it instead of, or you know, maybe even a quarter, so you would have it all match up. But I'm not too bothered about that. I don't think your person you're giving this to is going to be too concerned that it's not level or even in the back. So let's grab some Stampin' Dimensionals and we'll put these on the back of our basic black. And then I'm going to adhere the Grapefruit Grove. Gotta get used to saying that. And that's just gonna go, you know, centered on your, feel like I'm, oh no, I'm good, okay. Feel like I'm far down on the camera, but I'm not, so that's all good. So, trying to think, I'll go ahead and do the ribbon now. So, in order to put the ribbon on, I just put some adhesive here in the middle because your oval's going to cover it up. And I went ahead and just line this up in the center here. I think my finger's sticking to it. Maybe if I got it at a different angle. So like that. And then I'm just going to wrap this around. And this is just going to come around here and meet here in the center. So just like that. Then let's go ahead and throw on our oval. And that will go centered. See, everything underneath is just going to get covered up. And I just had, oh, never mind. I was going to say, I just had an idea. We could probably have done that with the bands because the oval would cover it and then you wouldn't see that. But I guess you could do that as an afterthought. So that's going to go here. Now to color this in, it's been a while since I have done this actually. I'm going to grab out, I'm going to take it and I'm going to squeeze my pad so it leaves ink in the center. And then I'm going to use my water brush, and you want to make sure that there's not a ton of water on it. You don't want water just dripping off of this because you don't want it pooling up on your image. But I did go ahead and just dip it in there, and I started at the top and then just kind of very lightly touch that brush onto the paper. And I did that with each one of these petals. And then sometimes I decided I didn't want to dip back in. Now it's not going to matter so much, I guess, on this one because it's not going to be seen. We're actually going to be covering this one up. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly just, now that I think about it, I don't want to spend a ton of time on these. I did color these in, even though I'm going to cut out the flowers and pop them up. I wanted to have that color underneath because a little bit of it does show. So I'm just barely touching my brush onto these. And as always, you don't have to cut these out. You could just simply color on here and leave it flat. I did like the extra detail and dimension it gave by coloring it, popping it up, but you don't have to do that, certainly. And the only reason that I even considered cutting them out was because they're not that difficult of an image to cut. I don't mind it if they're pretty simple. But yeah, if there's a lot of curves and points and stuff on it, I'm not a fan. So I'm just going to close this back up again, kind of squeeze it together, and just get some fresh stuff on here. So again, I just kind of started at the top of each of these petals and then moved my brush down, and then you can start that again at the top of the next one, and it gets lighter as you go down. And you can pick a few petals if you don't want to get it more ink on there. That way you have a little bit of variation in it. So some of the petals have that full strength and some of them will just have partial, which helps, you know, gives it that really pretty watercolor look. So we'll just go ahead and do that again. And I just love the way this turns out. It's so soft. Make sure I'm in the, yep, I am. I always feel like there's this awkward silence when I'm trying to color something in and I'm not talking to you guys. That's why I tend to just keep talking, because I suppose I probably could have fast forwarded this, but I thought maybe I would show you guys the whole step of coloring it in. And I did try this with the, what's it called? My brain just went, oh, isn't that beautiful? Oh my gosh. I don't know if you guys, let me show you up close. Isn't that really pretty? I think it's so pretty. Mint macaron. I tried it with the mint macaron and it turned out really beautiful as well. All right, so I'm not going to have you guys watch me cut each of these flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and cut each of them out, and I will come back to you when they are ready to be popped on. All right, now that we have all three of our flowers cut out, I'm just going to grab some Stampin' Dimensionals, and for this one I did find that, and I found out kind of the hard way, but I liked using the edge. Well, not the hard way, but that's all I had left when I first did this, was just the edge ones. But that way I don't have to cut it in half. It's already cut in half. So I could just use that to stick here on the back side of each one of these. So this one is going to go right here. And you know, looking at this, I might go back and take my black marker and maybe color that in if I can, because that leaf just didn't quite come out as nicely as I wanted it to. So there's that, and then finally this last one is going to go here. There. Now let's throw this on to our bag. Oh, nope. Hold on. Hold that thought. Let's get our sentiment on and hope that it doesn't stick too badly onto my paper. So, sentiment, you're just lovely. And that's just going to go right there. And centered into the stitches. And I did leave off in my introduction the Share What You Love Artisan Pearls. These are so beautiful. And I just put just a few of them just to accent it a little bit. Isn't that pretty? Just adds just that extra little touch to it. Yeah, so we're almost done. The next thing that we are going to do is just tie a bow. We've done this about 100 times, huh? Speaking of 100 times, I think I'd have to go back and look at my YouTube stats, but I think this is my 200th video since I started doing videos in January of 2017. 200. That's just crazy. I wonder how many hours that is. I have to go back and see how many videos I've done and how many hours go into, well, I mean, hours that go into it are a lot more than the actual time of each of the videos. So I feel like I'm just kind of, I don't know, like blabbering too much. And I'm really taking my time. I just don't feel like moving too fast. It's probably killing you guys who are watching. But just get on with it and stop talking. I think I'm going to trim this down just a little bit. Do the same with this. You can't rush creativity, right? Even if you've already created it. So the last thing that I did is I just brushed the Wink of Stella on, and I did try to keep it just within each of the petals instead of bringing it out onto the basic black. So just gave each of the little petals a little bit of a shimmer. And to me it just adds so much. I think they're beautiful without it, but when you add that little pop of shimmer, it just looks like they're sparkling in the sunlight. At least that's what I tell myself. So we'll throw this on. I just love this stuff. All right, guys, that's it. This is our project. What do you think? Are you just in love with this paper, or is it just me? I know that not everybody has the same tastes. You know, some might think it's probably the ugliest paper they've ever seen. But I really do love the color combination, and I love a lot of the floral prints. I can't say I'm in love with every single one of the prints as much as I am with another print in it. But the best part about it is usually the back side is just as beautiful as the front. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will have dimensions and printable downloadable dimensions and a supply list, worldofgencraft.com. If you would like to shop with me 24/7 online in your pajamas, jen.stampinup.net. And if you like what you see, make sure to subscribe so you can be notified of my next video. Talk to you guys later. Bye.